this whole situation is brand new or whatever, but I've been lucky enough because she's somebody who has definitely been well accustomed to being in like the mental illness area.
Right.
She's more understanding, and it's like in previous, it was like you always felt the need to explain yourself. When sometimes you're just anxious because you're just anxious and there is no explanation for it. And I just felt like so much pressure and felt, again, judgment. But when people don't understand things, sometimes they're actually trying their best to understand and sometimes they're judging you.
Right.
But you can't always assume that they're judging you.
I guess.
However, I know what it's like to try to be in that dating scene with somebody and then not get you. It almost feels suffocating because it's like, not only do I not know why I'm anxious, but now I have to explain to somebody that I'm anxious and I can't tell them why I'm anxious and they will still not understand
me. I totally understand.
Whereas with Maddie, it was like she just reads my body cues and she's read my body cues from the beginning.
Right.
And it's not, she's not going to pressure me to talk about it or make notice that I'm more quiet in certain times. She's just going to let me be. And that is what it is. And that's what I'm saying, where for you and I, it's sometimes our triggers are just out of the blue for no reason. Yeah. And I don't need you to point out the fact that I'm anxious because I know that I'm anxious. And sometimes I know I'm anxious, but I don't know what the rest of my body is doing because I can't focus on that right now. Right. And sometimes I think I'm controlling it and you can't see it. And most of the time you can see it and I don't know.
Right.
So it's not helping you to point it out to me that my state has changed.
Right.
Because that's not helping me. I'm trying to deal with the anxiety. Yeah. And so you need to have people in your life who, like you said, your friends now know when you're anxious, that's just what it is. It's not that she's mad, she's just anxious.
Right.
You need those people in your life, but you cannot expect people that you're starting relationships with to all be that way.
I guess.
You can't. But for me, that's why I choose to tell people right away. But again, I've always been that way, and some people I've learned will try their best to understand or will never understand, right. And some people don't have to try to understand because they just get it.
Right.
And you just have to kind of take those steps through the shitty dating path that it is, and meet people who get you and who don't get you.
And I think sometimes too, that's the one thing why I honestly think about dating outside of my race, because I just feel like the understanding for mental illness is a little bit, they're a lot more aware.
Yeah, for sure. When you're in places that aren't heavily like raised on culture and cultural beliefs and religion and all of that, they have that freedom without judgment to seek things out differently than what their culture and religion has told them to.
Because even for me, it's like, if you put it on a scale of mental illness, anxiety is probably one of the smallest specks of what people go through.
But so many people suffer from anxiety.
But the thing is, in my culture, just the fact that even like it's very different. If I come out and be like, oh, sometimes I get anxious.
Oh, but then to say I suffer from
then if you're like, oh yeah, you know, I have a mental issue and I do suffer from anxiety, it's like, oh,
she crazy. Does she know?
Because they literally will put anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, everything
it's all the same level.
They don't see the variations to it. They don't see the different symptoms to it.
For sure.
So it's at that point where sometimes it's like, do I just even?
And that's almost where like that suffocation comes from, where it's like I can't even explain it to you because culturally you don't actually care to understand the differences.
Right.
And so it's like, yes, it's easy to date somebody who's in my culture for many reasons, for our belief system, our values, all of that. But then things that you have such passion with and are something you deal with on a daily basis, if they can understand it, that's still a roadblock.
Yeah.
And dating somebody and getting to know them and building a relationship. And it's like, again, you're also putting yourself in a box by saying, I want to only date Nigerian.
Well, I think now I'm a little bit more open, especially even now being in this space of being in school and learning about the different aspects of psychology. I'm a little bit more open now. Right. Like, you know what? There's some things, like you said, some expectations I cannot put on people for my health because they just don't get it.
Yeah,
like I literally tell some people right now, I said, I'm back in school for counseling, and they literally tell me, oh, you want to be a shrink. Literally.
It's almost 2020. That's crazy.
Literally. And so that just tells you that even the concept of not just a black woman, but somebody with a cultural background, the idea of you, you want to sit down and just like this, like a lot of people from my cultural background have this sense of they're not suffering from anything. Like, and so sometimes,
and if they are, God is there.
Yes, and so sometimes when I talk, I get a lot of, you've become like white folks. And
always.
You don't really understand that you yourself are struggling from a lot of things, but you haven't opened yourself to be aware of the things that you're dealing with. And because I'm open and I speak about it, doesn't make me defective.
Right.
It just makes me more aware. And
I get that for sure.
Awareness opens doors to
so many
things.
Yeah.
That people just don't realize. And like you said, sometimes it's just hard trying to explain to people because it's just like there's only so much I can do.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
Yeah. So now that I think about it, and I'm like, that's literally one of my biggest fears now with dating is I already have a strong personality, and now I'm also dealing with anxiety. I am going to come across a lot of times like a bitch. I'm going to come across a lot of times that I don't care.
Right.
But a lot of that stems from.
But when someone is interested in you, and they want to take the time to get to know you, they will take the time to get to know you, and they will read your body cues.
You're so like how you literally just said, body can read your body language, and she just knows. Like at this point, I feel like it takes a very detailed and meticulous person
for sure
to get to that point. Because, like I said,
for sure, the time that it's all happened is quick, very quick.
Because you can be with somebody for so long and they still don't identify areas of you wanting to pull away. And so, like, just like the same way I meet a lot of people who would tell me, oh, you just lack emotion. But then I can sit with you and you can tell the difference between when I'm emotional about someone and how something, or how my voice changes, so I just feel like it takes a very intuitive person to really look at you.
But that is somebody you want to be dating. Like, you have so many levels and facets to you.
Right.
If you dated somebody who was so surface that he couldn't see the minor changes in your body language, let alone like your tone, you wouldn't even be satisfied. You wouldn't entertain it.
That's the thing. And so that's the thing. Now that I'm in
the single world, standards.
I'm really scared that I am too deep for some guys.
I am 26 years old, Laura, and this is only the start of my understanding the whole dating journey. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And the last 5 years you were dating somebody.
Yeah.
And so of course it's going to be so terrifying, you going into this dating scene and being like, I know what my standards are, but I also know that I have to be open to certain things.
Right.
And of course you're going to be like, wow, this is scary. But you have to allow yourself to understand, like, you came from being a young child to a 5-year relationship to now being a woman who is so much different than the person who was in that relationship. Of course it's going to be way different than you ever thought it would be. And don't ever make yourself feel bad that you have expectations for a person you want to fall in love with.
Right.
Don't make yourself feel bad.
Sometimes I'm just like, I literally sit there and I'm like, am I just too deep? Am I too deep? Like, I want to sit and have a conversation, and sometimes it's like I know as a child I always thought you're such an old soul, but it's like
I'd rather talk about this than the weather.
Yeah, exactly. So I think sometimes that might be one thing I've noticed I'm kind of struggling with, is that if you do not pique my interest at the very beginning, I don't know. Like the day I texted you and I was like, what do I say to this guy? Like, it's cold. Like, I need someone who gets my depth.
No, I get that. And I spent a whole year and a half trying to be like, you are the most judgmental person. Like, you need to lower your standards. You need to be less this, blah, blah, blah. And from the beginning, I knew it was like, this is not going to work. But I was like, everyone tells me that I'm so judgmental. I'm like, maybe I should listen to them. And I'm like, no, I knew this wasn't going to work from the beginning. And I spent all this time trying to make it work when I knew. You just have to trust yourself and what you want, and know in due time, you're going to get exactly what you need. Yeah. And it will fit just easily. Perfectly. Yeah. So because you're so apprehensive, would you be saying you wouldn't bring up your issues with anxiety right away?
I would say yes, but then I've noticed it would differ with who I am dating. If it was someone from my culture, I would definitely be hesitant. I don't know how long, but if it was definitely someone not from my culture, I would just feel more open. But if it's from my culture, I would definitely feel a sense of being judged.
Right.
And I'm one of those people, like, I care so much what people think of me. And so it's like, my fear is that,
I
like,
care.
Yeah, I know, on the exterior, I'm like,
I don't care at all. And then deep down, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. And so I try to carry myself in a certain way. So my thing is, if I tell you, and even if it's not as serious, especially in a place like Edmonton where dating is, like, it's just so small, and we just recycle the same man, like, it's just ridiculous. So my thing is, if I tell you now that I have anxiety, and even if we do not go on any further, the Nigerian community is small, and the next person I'm dating probably knows you.
That's what I'm saying about your shame.
You probably tell them that I have anxiety, so now they're coming in with like, oh, this girl crazy. I'm just like, am I ready?
Right.
Am I ready? Yes. Am I
to own it?
I don't know if I'm ready,
Right.
and it sounds bad coming from somebody who is studying to become a psychologist.
Oh, right.
But it's
that's
like,
a part of the conversation.
I don't know if I'm ready to take that on from people from my culture.
Right.
So it's like, from someone from my culture, I don't know. I feel like we have to get to a point where I feel like we're so comfortable with each other, and I can be so vulnerable with you that I can just be like, oh, by the way.
And he'd be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. And then it's like, but if it was someone not from my culture, and I just feel like if I'm really into you and we've gone on more than 5 dates, I honestly feel like
you have a number.
Well, yeah, because I just feel like the first day I'm just like, looking, getting to know. Depending on the text conversations, the phone call conversations, and the face-to-face meetings, it could be something that the second date I feel very comfortable enough to tell you.
Right.
But that will all depend on
all
the other things.
Sure, I get that, because, like you were saying, the whole you're being too wide. What did you say exactly? About, like, you talking about stigma or like mental health, and then that's like the white coming out essentially.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you do anything that is not part of your
like,
culture,
oh, you're like the white folks. So
right. But I've grown up hearing that my whole life, so I felt more comfortable in terms of dating anybody but the Black community.
But I honestly feel like, in a weird way, because you grew up here, I'm not saying it's easier.
Oh, it's definitely different for sure.
But for someone like me who grew up in both, some people see it as great. You're expanding your knowledge and you're using it into both streams. Like, you're using it into the Western culture and you're trying to help people in there. I have people that is like, oh, you've gone abroad now, you're just trying to become one of them. And it's like...
But literally, you can't appease or make anybody happy. So you have to figure out what you want.
Exactly.
And how you're going to just own your shit, and whoever it is that comes into your life, if they're going to own you and take you on and appreciate all of you, then it really won't matter what the outsiders are.
Well, it was just something I wanted to bring up, because I feel like a lot of times when it comes to dating, or when it's very easy for us to be like, oh, when are you going to tell the person you're with how many kids you have, or like all those other things. But when it comes to mental illness, I would really comfortable enough to sit there and have these conversations with the person that we're dating. Yeah. So, I mean, as you guys heard, there are definitely a whole levels to this.
It's never an easy answer.
No,
this,
it's never. And I think the one thing I would say to whoever is suffering from a mental illness is, even when dating, just take it at your own pace. Like she said, you would get the vibe of the person you're with, just kind of how like the man just made it a little bit more.
So much easier.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, it's so different from texting to being in person, because I was thinking about this today, like based off of our text messages, I thought she was way too cool for me, and that she was just like using me to like move on to the next person. And then in person, I was like, yo, this is scary. Like, this is not at all what I expected. So you definitely have to give the person time.
Right.
And like I said, don't have expectations. It's so hard not to, because I expected her to hate me, and it was like completely opposite.
Right.
So obviously, human nature, you're gonna have expectations, but yeah, there is no right answer, and you have to do what makes you feel comfortable, right? You just gotta.
I think one thing I definitely need from it is just no expectations, and I think that's one sometimes a huge issue I have. I tend to go.
Yeah, because then not only do you let them, you give them the opportunity to fail you and make you upset. You are not allowing space for it to be positive and for things to grow. Like you're already setting it up to fail.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it could be something. And I think one thing I also need to know is that although it might be, even if I'm dating someone within my culture, although it might not be something they might be familiar with, it might be something with time they're willing to understand. Sure. So I guess maybe even in the first time that I do let them know about it, and they might not react the way I want it to, it shouldn't be a complete shutdown, because it could just be something that they're still learning to understand. And mental illness is not a one-day thing that you get like that. It takes some time and never.
And yeah, like you said, start the conversation, and even if they don't have reactions that you had wanted them to have, if they're open and willing to be as understanding as they know how to be, you gotta give them time as well.
Thank you all for joining me and my wonderful co-host Paisley. You can always check us on social media: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat. It's gonna be Growinmind. It's gonna be linked in the bio. Make sure you check us out, and we thank you so much for joining us in today's episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Jump on a party like Chris Calling.